Welcome to my channel. Listen to my stories every day. Comment, like and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy listening. The day starts like any other. I brew my coffee, the rich aroma filling the small apartment I call home. I settle into my favorite armchair, flipping through the morning news on my tablet. The clinking of my wife Lisa's heels echoes down the hallway as she prepares for work. It's a typical Tuesday, or so I think. Without warning, my door flies open and a man I've never seen before bursts into my living room. He's tall, with disheveled hair and a frantic look in his eyes. He doesn't hesitate, he doesn't ask permission. He just barges in like he owns the place. My heart races as I jump up, spilling coffee on my pajama pants. "Who the hell are you?" I demand, trying to sound more confident than I feel. The man raises his hands in a gesture of peace. "You don't know me, but I'm sleeping with your wife." His words hit me like a punch to the gut. I feel the room spinning. Lisa steps out of the bedroom at that exact moment, her eyes widening in shock. But before either of us can react, he continues. "I'm not claiming anything, just hooking up a couple times, but she's nuts. She wants to kill you so she can take your apartment for the two of us." I realize that's out of line. Bye, no hard feelings. And just like that, he turns on his heel and leaves, slamming the door behind him. The silence that follows is deafening. My brain struggles to process what just happened. Lisa's face is a mask of terror, and for a moment I see the truth in her eyes. "Who was that?" I finally managed to croak, my voice trembling. Lisa shakes her head, her expression shifting from fear to anger. "I have no idea, Jack. He must be crazy. You can't seriously believe him." But doubt has already planted its seeds. "Lisa, don't lie to me," I warn, stepping closer. "Tell me the truth." She scoffs, crossing her arms defensively. "There's nothing to tell. He's obviously some lunatic trying to mess with us." I can't ignore the uneasy feeling gnawing at my gut. The man's words echo in my head, mingling with Lisa's evasive answers. I know I need to act, to think clearly despite the whirlwind of emotions. "Fine," I say through gritted teeth. "I'm going to work. We'll talk about this tonight." Lisa opens her mouth to protest, but I cut her off with a sharp look. I grab my keys and storm out, my mind racing. At work I can't concentrate. My thoughts are consumed by the stranger's warning. Could Lisa really be plotting to kill me? Why would she do such a thing? I need answers, and I need a plan. After lunch, I decide to call a private investigator. If there's any truth to the man's claim, I need evidence. I find a reputable agency online and make an appointment for the next day. The rest of the afternoon drags on painfully slow, each tick of the clock a reminder of the potential danger I face at home. When I finally return to the apartment that evening, Lisa is waiting for me, her eyes red from crying. "Jack, please," she pleads. "You have to believe me. I would never do anything to hurt you." I stare at her, trying to find the woman I fell in love with beneath the layers of deceit. "We'll see," I reply coldly. "For now, I think it's best if we take a break. I'll stay with a friend for a while." She looks devastated, but I turn away, grabbing a bag and stuffing it with clothes. I need space to think, to plan my next move without the shadow of her presence looming over me. At my friend Tom's place, I finally feel a semblance of safety. I explain the situation to him, and he listens with a mix of disbelief and concern. "Man, that's rough," Tom says, handing me a beer. "But you did the right thing. We'll figure this out." The next morning, I meet with the private investigator, a grizzled man named Frank with years of experience under his belt. I explain everything, and he nods thoughtfully. "I'll look into it," Frank assures me. "If she's up to something, we'll find out." Days turn into a week, and each passing moment feels like an eternity. Frank sends me periodic updates, but there's little progress. I begin to doubt my decision, wondering if I'm chasing shadows. But then, late one evening, my phone buzzes with a message from Frank. "Jack, I found something. Meet me tomorrow at noon. It's important." My heart pounds as I stare at the screen. This is it. The moment of truth, I'm about to uncover the reality behind Lisa's mask, and I brace myself for whatever lies ahead. Little do I know, the revelations awaiting me are far more twisted than I ever imagined. The next morning, I'm up early, the weight of anticipation heavy on my shoulders. I barely sleep, tossing and turning as my mind races with possibilities. Frank's message echoes in my head, a harbinger of impending truth. By the time noon rolls around, I'm a bundle of nerves. I arrive at Frank's office, a modest space cluttered with files and photographs. Frank sits behind his desk, a cigarette dangling from his lips, eyes sharp and focused. He gestures for me to take a seat. "Jack," he begins, blowing out a cloud of smoke. "I've been following Lisa. What I found, well, it's not good." My heart skips a beat. "Tell me everything." Frank opens a folder and slides a series of photographs across the desk. My blood runs cold as I see Lisa meeting with the man who burst into my apartment. They're laughing, holding hands, a far cry from the image of a loyal wife. "That's him," I mutter. "The guy who came to my house." Frank nods. "His name is Greg. He's got a record petty theft fraud. Your wife's been seeing him for months." A cold fury boils within me. "What else?" Frank hesitates, then pulls out another document. "I found some financial transactions. Lisa's been withdrawing large sums of money, transferring it to an offshore account." I clench my fists, the betrayal slicing through me like a knife. So it's true. She's planning something. "There's more," Frank says, his voice grim. I tapped into her phone. She's been in contact with someone named Vince. He's got a reputation for making people disappear. The room spins. I feel like I'm in a nightmare, each revelation worse than the last. What do I do? Frank leans forward, his gaze intense. "We need to set a trap. Make her think you're onto her plan, but act like you're falling for it. We'll gather more evidence, enough to go to the police." I nod, my resolve hardening. "Let's do it." The plan is set in motion quickly. Frank outfits me with a wire, ensuring every conversation I have with Lisa is recorded. I feel a mix of fear and determination as I head back to the apartment, knowing I have to confront her while keeping up the charade. When I walk in, Lisa is sitting on the couch, looking fragile and tear-stained. She jumps up when she sees me, rushing over to hug me. "Jack, I'm so sorry," she sobs. "I don't know what came over me. Please forgive me." I force myself to play the part. "I've been thinking, Lisa. Maybe I overreacted. Let's talk this through." She looks up, hope shining in her eyes. "Really? You mean it?" "Yeah," I say, guiding her to the couch. "But you have to be honest with me. About everything." We sit, and she begins to weave a tale of regret and confusion, claiming she was seduced by Greg during a vulnerable moment. I listen, nodding, while inside I'm seething with anger. As she speaks, I subtly steer the conversation towards our finances. I notice some money missing from our account. "What's that about?" Lisa pales slightly but recovers quickly. "I was just saving up, in case we needed it. You know how unpredictable things can be." I nod again, pretending to accept her explanation. "I see. Well, we should probably move that money back, don't you think? Keep everything transparent between us." She hesitates, then nods. "Yes, of course. I'll take care of it." The evening drags on, a tense dance of deception. I manage to get through it without raising suspicion, and by the time Lisa goes to bed, I'm exhausted. I sneak out to meet Frank, updating him on our conversation. "We need to act fast," Frank says. "She's on edge. If she suspects anything, she might accelerate her plans." The next day I go to work as usual, but my mind is elsewhere. I can't focus, the constant fear of betrayal gnawing at me. During lunch I get a call from Tom. "Hey man, how's it going?" Tom's voice is a welcome relief, a reminder of normalcy. "I've been better, I admit. Can we meet up tonight? I need to talk." "Sure thing. My place." "Yeah, thanks, Tom." That evening, I head to Tom's apartment. He greets me with a concerned look, handing me a beer as we sit on his balcony. "What's going on, Jack?" I fill him in on the situation, leaving out the details about Frank's investigation for safety. Tom listens, his expression growing darker with each passing minute. "Jesus, Jack, that's insane. Are you sure you're safe?" "For now," I say. "But I need your help. If things go south, I need someone I can trust." Tom nods without hesitation. "You got it. Whatever you need." Feeling slightly reassured, I return to my temporary home, constantly checking my phone for updates from Frank. The tension is unbearable, each day a test of my patience and resolve. Finally, Frank calls with the breakthrough we've been waiting for. "Jack, I've got enough evidence. Meet me at the precinct tomorrow morning. We're taking this to the police." Relief floods through me. The end is in sight. Tomorrow I'll expose Lisa's treachery and put an end to her plans. But as I prepare for bed, a nagging thought lingers in the back of my mind. What if Lisa is one step ahead? I shake off the doubt, focusing on the task at hand. Tomorrow, the truth will come to light, and I'll take the first step towards reclaiming my life. But as I drift off to sleep, I can't help but feel that the real danger has only just begun. The morning sun filters through the blinds, casting a harsh light on the day ahead. I feel the weight of what's to come as I get ready, the anticipation a knot in my stomach. I meet Frank at the precinct, the air thick with the smell of coffee and the hum of police activity. Frank greets me with a firm handshake. "Jack, this is Detective Harris," he says, introducing me to a stern-looking man with a piercing gaze. "Mr. Donovan." Harris nods. "Frank's filled me in on your situation. We've reviewed the evidence. It's solid. We're ready to move forward, but we need you to play your part to perfection. Can you do that?" I swallow hard, nodding. "Yes, I'll do whatever it takes." Harris lays out the plan. "We'll wire your apartment and monitor your interactions with Lisa. Once she makes a move, we'll have everything we need to arrest her and anyone else involved." I head back to my apartment, the tension building with every step. When I walk in, Lisa is in the kitchen, making coffee. She looks up, surprise flickering across her face. "You're home early," she says, her voice carefully neutral. "I took the day off," I reply, forcing a smile. "Thought we could spend some time together, maybe talk things out." Her eyes narrow slightly, suspicion creeping in. "That sounds nice. Let me just finish up here." I watch her, the ease with which she moves around the kitchen belying the danger she represents. I need to keep her calm, make her believe I'm buying her act. "Lisa," I say, taking a seat at the kitchen table, "I've been thinking. Maybe we should go away for a while. Just the two of us. Clear our heads. Start fresh." She pauses, a look of contemplation crossing her face. "That's a good idea. Where do you want to go?" "Anywhere you want," I say, keeping my tone light. "Maybe somewhere quiet, where we can just focus on us." She nods slowly, a smile spreading across her lips. "I'd like that." As we talk, my phone buzzes in my pocket. It's Frank, a brief text confirming the setup is complete. I slip the phone back, maintaining my facade. We spend the rest of the day in a tense dance, every word and gesture loaded with hidden meaning. By evening, I'm exhausted, the strain of pretending taking its toll. Lisa suggests we watch a movie, and I agree, anything to keep up the appearance of normalcy. Halfway through the film, my phone buzzes again. Another text from Frank. It's happening. Stay alert. My heart pounds as I read the message. I glance at Lisa, her face illuminated by the flickering screen, and force myself to act natural. "I'm going to get some water. Want anything?" "No. I'm good," she says, not taking her eyes off the screen. I head to the kitchen, taking deep breaths to steady myself. As I fill a glass with water, I hear a faint click from the front door. The sound sends a chill down my spine. It's the signal. I return to the living room, trying to remain composed. "You know, I've been thinking about that guy who came to the house. Maybe he was right about some things." Lisa looks at me, her expression carefully blank. What do you mean? Maybe we should be more careful. Make sure we're really secure. I mean, what if he comes back? Her eyes flicker with something I can't quite place. You're right. We should be careful. The tension between us is palpable, each second dragging on. Suddenly, there's a loud bang from the hallway. I jump up, heart racing. What was that? Lisa exclaims, her voice tinged with fear. I don't know, I say, heading towards the noise. Stay here. I'll check it out. As I move down the hallway, I hear muffled voices and the sound of a struggle. I reach the door just in time to see two police officers subduing Greg, his face twisted in rage. You set me up, he yells, thrashing against the officer's grip. I step back, shock and relief flooding through me. Take him away, one of the officers says, and they drag Greg out of the apartment. I return to the living room, where Lisa stands frozen, her face pale. What's going on, Jack? She demands, panic in her voice. It's over, Lisa, I say, my voice steady. The police have everything. They know about your plan. Her eyes widen in horror, and she bolts for the door. But Frank is there, blocking her path. Not so fast, he says, grabbing her arm. Let go of me, she screams, struggling against him. Lisa Donovan, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, Frank says, pulling out a pair of handcuffs. No. You can't do this, she shrieks, but it's too late. The officers take her away, her cries echoing in the hallway. I collapse onto the couch, the adrenaline leaving me drained. Frank sits next to me, his expression sympathetic. You did good, Jack. It's over. But as I sit there, the enormity of what just happened washes over me. Lisa, the woman I loved, was plotting to kill me. And Greg, her accomplice, now in police custody. The danger is gone, but the betrayal cuts deep. Days pass in a blur. I give my statement to the police, and the case against Lisa and Greg builds. Detective Harris assures me they'll face justice, but the wound in my heart remains raw. One evening, as I sit alone in my now empty apartment, Tom comes over, a six-pack in hand. Thought you could use some company, he says, handing me a beer. Thanks, I say, taking a long drink. I don't know what to do now. Tom sits beside me, his presence a comforting anchor. You start over, Jack, you rebuild. And you know you've got friends who will help you through it. I nod, the reality slowly sinking in. The road ahead will be long and painful, but for the first time I feel a glimmer of hope. With the truth out and the threat eliminated, I can finally begin to piece my life back together. As the night wears on, Tom and I talk about everything and nothing, the weight of the past few weeks gradually lifting. And as I drift off to sleep, I realize that while the scars of betrayal will take time to heal, the future is mine to shape. Little do I know, however, that the shadows of Lisa's treachery are not fully dispelled, and the real danger may still be lurking, waiting for the right moment to strike again. Weeks pass, and life begins to stabilize. I return to my daily routines, trying to find solace in normalcy. The trial looms, but with Frank and Detective Harris at the helm, I trust that justice will be served. Despite the emotional scars, I'm slowly regaining my strength. One evening, Frank calls, his voice urgent. Jack, we need to meet. Now. Anxiety grips me as I agree. We meet at a small, dimly lit bar, the kind of place where conversations are drowned out by the hum of patrons and clinking glasses. Frank is already there, a grave expression on his face. What's going on, I ask, taking a seat across from him. Frank leans in, lowering his voice. Jack, there's something you need to know. We've been digging deeper into Lisa's connections and found something disturbing. My stomach knots. What is it? Frank slides a folder across the table. I open it to find photos and documents that make my blood run cold. Greg wasn't the mastermind, Frank says quietly. He was just a pawn. The real mastermind is Vince. Vince, I echo, feeling a chill run down my spine. The guy Lisa was contacting. Frank nods. We managed to track him down, but he's slippery. He has a reputation for orchestrating hits, making people disappear. And he's still out there. I lean back, absorbing the gravity of Frank's words. So, what do we do? We lure him out, Frank says, his eyes steely. But we need to be smart about it. He's dangerous. We spend the next hour devising a plan. Vince needs to believe that the operation is still in play, that Lisa and Greg's arrest hasn't derailed his scheme. The risk is high, but it's the only way to stop him. The following days are tense. Frank and Detective Harris coordinate with me, setting up the trap. I'm to act as if I'm desperate, looking for a way to protect myself from Lisa's supposed accomplices. The aim is to bait Vince into making a move. One evening, as planned, I head to a secluded warehouse on the outskirts of town, a place Vince has been known to frequent. The police are stationed nearby, ready to intervene. I step inside, the air thick with dust and tension. I hear footsteps, then a voice. Jack Donovan. I turn to see a tall, lean man with cold, calculating eyes. Vince. He steps out of the shadows, a sinister smile on his face. So, you're the one causing all this trouble, he says, his tone mocking. I just want this to be over, I say, keeping my voice steady. I'll do whatever it takes. Vince laughs, a chilling sound that echoes in the empty warehouse. Oh, it'll be over soon enough. But not the way you think. Before I can react, two men step out from behind him, guns drawn. My heart races as I realize the danger I'm in, but I have to trust the plan. What do you want from me, I ask, trying to buy time. Vince's smile widens. Your cooperation. You see, Lisa was just a means to an end. With her gone, you're the loose end I need to tie up. Suddenly, there's a commotion outside. The doors burst open and police officers flood in, guns drawn. Drop your weapons, Detective Harris shouts. Chaos ensues. Vince's men open fire, and the warehouse erupts into a frenzy of gunfire and shouts. I dive for cover, heart pounding. Frank appears beside me, his expression fierce. Stay down, he yells, returning fire. Minutes feel like hours as the shootout rages on. Finally, the gunfire ceases. I peek out from behind my cover to see Vince and his men being handcuffed, their faces contorted with anger and defeat. Detective Harris approaches, his face stern. We got them, Jack. It's over. Relief washes over me as I stand, my legs shaky. Frank clasps my shoulder, a rare smile on his face. You did good, Jack. As the police secure the scene, I feel a sense of closure. The danger has passed, and the masterminds behind Lisa's betrayal are behind bars. But as I leave the warehouse, another realization hits me: I'm free. Truly free. In the days that follow, the pieces of my life begin to fall into place. Lisa and Greg are convicted, their plans laid bare in court. Vince faces a litany of charges, his empire crumbling. One afternoon, as I sit in my now peaceful apartment, Tom comes over, a box of pizza in hand. Thought you could use some company, he says with a grin. I laugh, feeling lighter than I have in months. Thanks, Tom. I could use a friend. As we eat and talk, I reflect on the journey I've been through. The betrayal, the danger, the revelation of truths I never imagined. But through it all, I've come out stronger. The doorbell rings, and I get up to answer it, expecting another friend or perhaps a neighbor. But when I open the door, I freeze. Standing there is a young woman, her expression nervous yet determined. Can I help you, I ask, puzzled. She takes a deep breath. Mr. Donovan, my name is Sarah. I'm Greg's sister. My heart skips a beat. What do you want? I need to talk to you, she says, her voice trembling. It's about Lisa and Vince. There's something you need to know. I step aside, letting her in, my mind racing. The intrigue isn't over, and as Sarah begins to speak, I realize that the shadows of the past still hold secrets, and my journey is far from finished.